Hello everybody, and in this video I try to speedrun Minecraft Pocket Edition. Now if you don't know what a speedrun is, it's basically where you have to try to beat the game as quickly as possible. Now there are many components to speedrun, but one of the most integral parts is the seed, which basically determines the generation of your structures and whatnot, and it's basically random. Now after resetting my seed many times, I finally got a half decent attempt, which I'm going to share with you. But something good happened at the end, so I have to wait for that. But before I get further in the video, I want to ask that if you do like it, please like the video, and if you want to see more of my content in the future, please subscribe. Now, when I loaded into the seed, I was already thinking about resetting since it's a jungle, which isn't the most ideal for speedrunning, because in a jungle there are a bunch of big trees and very tricky vines to get around, and typically don't have lava pools as common as other biomes such as plains and desert. But I decided to stick with it since I know that if I don't get any good luck, I can always just reset. Now, after I had got my stone to make a furnace and a couple of basic super slow stone tools, I immediately started to look for some sort of village, a desert temple, or like a shipwreck or something like that, just for a couple pieces of iron, which I needed for a bucket. Now, with a bucket, they're good for MLGs, which can save your life in desperate situations, but it's also good for making another portal, and much quicker than using diamond tools in a speedrun. Now here I find a cave with some coal in it, which I use for smelting some food later, and iron that I do eventually find, but not in that cave, which I thought was going to be more. Now here, I'm not only starting to look for some iron from a cave or something like that, but I'm also starting to look for some food. This is also another reason why I wanted to reset the jungle, because with all the vines and trees in the way, it doesn't leave much space for animals to spawn. The only food source in a jungle can be maybe a couple animals here and there, and then maybe some melons, but those aren't very good for eating because they don't give high saturation, and only fill one hunger bar at a time. Now here I not only find a couple of animals, such as this pig, but also I find melons, which I do take in the end, because I know that just a couple pieces of food from the pig and maybe a couple animals later on the line won't be enough to take me through the whole speedrun, including the nether and the end. So I decided to take the melons with me, although they only give one bar of hunger at a time. Now here I also do find a sheep, which I do take not only because of the food, because of the wool, which is good for beds and also killing the dragon. If you don't know, using beds when killing the dragon does a lot more damage and is a lot quicker than using a sword or an axe or something like that. So I was eating melons here and not eating the food that I got from the sheep and the pigs earlier, because I wanted to cook that to get more hunger out of them. But I didn't want to stop right now because I had seen this cave, which I wanted to look for some iron, which I got. I think about 5 pieces here, which is enough for my bucket and a couple other things. Now that I have my iron for a bucket, I'm starting to look for a lava pool, and out of the corner of my eye to my right, I see some sand, which indicates some sort of desert or something, and I go there because the desert is very open like plains, and I can see lava pools much more easier on there than something like a jungle. Now this didn't end up actually being a desert, but I thought it was, so I laid down my crafting table and my furnace and started to smelt my iron here. Now while I was smelting, I gathered a couple pieces of wood just to make sure I had enough for the nether. I also started to get some blocks, which I just used some dirt. So I gathered about 9 pieces of iron in that cave, which leaves me 6 after making my bucket, which takes 3 iron. And I make a pickaxe out of 3 of the iron, and then I make a sword and a shield eventually. And I start cooking up my pork chop so I can use that instead of the watermelon from the jungle. Now this is when I realized that this definitely was not a desert, and I don't know if you saw it earlier, but over this little hill was an ice spikes, and there is definitely not going to be any lava near those ice spikes. So I decided to take a hard left and maybe see if there would be anything in the jungle maybe, but I knew that if I didn't get lucky soon I would have to reset. Here I start climbing this mountain slash hill to see if I can grab a better vantage point above the jungle, above the trees, to see if I could find a lava pool from up here. Now I really couldn't see anything from on the mountain because of all the trees and everything, so even if there was a lava pool I couldn't see it, so I just decided to come down, and then I kept heading forward. Now here I see a little glimmer, and finally I find a lava pool. Now if you don't know what a lava pool is for, it's to make another portal. Now here I'm trying to do it the speedrun way, which is much quicker than doing it the regular way with buckets. But I definitely need to practice and get a little quicker at this, because I do mess up and all the water goes over the lava. Thankfully though, there is some lava left in the corner, which I do use to make my portal. And here I thought I was absolutely screwed. I had used my lava and blocked up my water. And from coming here, I didn't know that there was any water nearby, so I thought, man, I really have to reset now. But thankfully, right underneath, right behind the lava pool, is a pool of water, which I used to put at the back of my nether portal to finish it up. Now I open my inventory here to see if I have any flint. I knew I had 1 iron left over because I had only used 5 from my sword and pickaxe and 3 for my bucket, which is only 8. But I did not have any flint for my flint and steel. So what I did is I grabbed the last couple pieces of wood, not the last, but my ones in my inventory, and I put it next to the lava pool, which caught fire and did light my nether portal. Now, not only did I light my nether portal, but I also got to save my last piece of iron, which I make into a shield here, which definitely helps in the nether fighting enderman, blaze, pigmen, basically any mob. Now, immediately after I leave the portal, I start to look for a nether fortress. Now, in a nether fortress, there are blaze, which give blaze rods, which help you go to the end. Now, here I find some gold nuggets, gold ore, and I grab a couple pieces of that because with gold I can trade it to big piglins and get ender pearls. Now here I see a crimson forest, so I go up here because I know that there will be piglins and hoglins, which I definitely need for food because I'm currently sitting on only 16 watermelon and 3 pork chops, so I definitely need some sort of food. So I come here for some hoglins, which I can kill, but not only that, there's also going to be gold and piglins here. And on top of that, I'm also looking for another fortress. Now, the nether is a very scary place. There's lava, mobs everywhere. So you have to be very careful, which is the reason I decided to make a shield. Now here, to my left, I see some blue trees and head over to this warped forest. Now, in this warped forest, there can be enderman spawns. That's actually the only mob that can spawn here. Now, endermen drop ender pearls, which you can combine with the blaze powder that you get from the blaze in another fortress, and that's how you reach the end, which you need to complete the game. Now, there are 2 ways that you can get ender pearls. You can either kill endermen in the overworld, in the nether, or anything like that, or you can trade gold to these piglins. Now, I only had about 5 nuggets, which is not even enough for 1 piece of gold, and I already saw some endermen over here, so I decided to kill a couple of endermen, see however many pearls I get, and then if I need to, I can trade for the rest. Now here there was a ghast also shooting at me while I angered this enderman, so that got me really scared, so I basically just backed into a corner and let the enderman come to me. And I see a second enderman to my right, which I don't anger just yet, but I accidentally do look at another one. Now, it's not very good to be fighting more than a couple endermen at once, because they can come at you from all sides and teleport everywhere. Now, that first enderman dropped a pearl. You need anywhere from 12 pearls is the maximum that you need. So I had already gotten 1 out of 12, which is pretty good. Now here my health got pretty low. I'm sitting on like 3 hearts right now. So I basically just blocked my shield, waited for the enderman to come to me, so then I could heal up. Now that enderman just ended up dying by the fire and sadly did not drop a pearl. Now here there are 2 ways I can go, which I see that have warped forest. I can either go down and up. I decided to go up since I don't want to be cornered by the enderman, and I couldn't really see what was down there. So I decided to go up, and I'm glad that I went here because it really opens up. Now I used mostly all my blocks climbing up that little cliff. So here I decided to grab just a couple pieces of netherrack. Now I also see to my left a crimson forest, which I can use later for food, like I said, and piglins. I also decided to grab a couple pieces of gold here because I know that it's highly unlikely that I'll be able to get all 12 pearls in a timely manner. It's just much quicker to trade. Now I come here to this warped forest to see if I can grab a couple ender pearls before I trade for the rest with the piglins. And this is also one of the main reasons why I did craft a shield. As you can see, I can just block my shield and then hit them. Now there's this really good tactic where you dig into the wall 2 blocks, and since endermen are 3 blocks high, they can't get you, and you hit and then you go back. So you can hit them and then they can hit you. So that's mostly what I'm using here, along with the shield. So after grabbing a pretty good amount of coal, I decided to head over to this nether badlands where I can grab more gold and find some piglins. Piglins can be found in the nether badlands as well as in the crimson forest. So I come here to trade for the rest of my pearls, which I have 10 here. Now this is where I need to confess something. This speedrun doesn't end like how I thought it would end. So I spent about a couple hours speedrunning, and this was the best one I could get. So just watch to the end, you'll see what happens. So I throw the gold here for the piglins to get, but they don't see it since it's too far away. And this is when they start arming their bows. Now, as you might be able to tell, I don't have a shield, and that's because it broke while fighting the enderman. And that's why I didn't just continue fighting enderman, because I was scared that I couldn't really do it without the shield. And this is when it all went downhill. They got angry at me because I didn't have any gold on, and I tried to run away, and I tried to go under here and mine. And now, as you see, I have my crafting table in hand, so I was going to place it down to block the way, but I decided that it would be more beneficial to eat. So that's what happens.